The Whispering Shadows of Eldermere. The storm raged over Eldermere, a village nestled between towering cliffs and an ancient forest, a place where legends blurred with reality. Rain lashed against the wooden rooftops, and the wind howled through the narrow streets, carrying whispers of unseen forces. But even amidst the tempest, a lone figure strode through the darkness, his heart pounding with purpose. Elias Thorne had made his decision. No longer would he bow to the cruelty of the Count, the tyrant who had turned their once thriving home into a place of fear and silence. The villagers had suffered enough, their spirits crushed beneath the weight of unfair taxes and brutal punishments. Tonight, everything would change. He reached the square, where flickering torches illuminated anxious faces. Men, women, and children gathered in defiance, their breath misting in the cold night air. They had heard Elias' words, seen his resolve, and now, for the first time in years, they dared to hope. He raised his hand, and a hush fell over the crowd. "We are stronger together," he declared, his voice cutting through the storm. "For too long, we have lived in fear. Tonight, we demand justice. Tonight, we reclaim our lives." A cheer rose, hesitant at first but gaining strength. The echoes of their unity sent a tremor through the very ground they stood on. But unseen eyes watched from the shadows, and the Count's men were already moving. Within the grand hall of Eldermere Manor, Count Vasilis reclined in his throne-like chair, swirling a goblet of crimson wine. His sharp, predatory eyes gleamed as he listened to the frantic words of his informant. A rebellion? How quaint. He had crushed such uprisings before, leaving only whispers of the foolish who dared oppose him. But Elias was different. The fire in the young man's eyes, the way the villagers clung to his every word, it was dangerous. Amusing, yet dangerous. Vasilis set down his goblet and stood, his towering figure casting long, eerie shadows. "Let them march," he murmured, a cruel smile playing on his lips. "I shall remind them why they fear the dark." Elias led the villagers through the rain-slick streets, their torches casting golden reflections upon the cobblestone. They reached the manor gates, their voices rising in unison, demanding justice. But before Elias could call out his challenge, the torches flickered, then died. A suffocating silence fell. The air turned heavy, thick with something unseen yet palpable. A woman screamed, a child sobbed, and then, from the darkness, they came. Shadows moved unnaturally, slithering like living tendrils, pulling men into the void with silent, bone-chilling efficiency. The Count's guards were nowhere in sight, for there were older, darker forces at work. The legends of Eldermere spoke of an ancient curse, a pact made in blood to grant the Count his unnatural rule. Elias had never believed them until now. His breath came fast as he turned to the villagers, urging them to flee, but it was too late. The Count's voice echoed from the darkness, silky and lethal. "Did you truly believe you could challenge me? You are but insects before storm." And then she appeared. From the mist, a woman stepped forward. Cloaked in silver, her hair flowed like liquid moonlight, her eyes holding the weight of centuries. "The curse ends tonight," she declared, her voice resonating with an otherworldly power. It was Lady Seraphine, the Count's lost love, the woman who had vanished on the eve of their wedding centuries ago. Legends told of her tragic fate, how she had been sacrificed to seal his dark power. But here she stood, radiant and unbroken. "Vasilis," she whispered, her voice filled with both sorrow and wrath. "Your time is over." The Count snarled, his elegant veneer cracking as he took a step back. "You should not exist," he spat, his voice filled with a rare trace of fear. "You were lost to me." "No, Vasilis," Seraphine said softly, "you lost yourself." With a wave of her hand, the shadows recoiled, retreating as if burned by her presence. The villagers watched in awe as Elias stepped forward, realizing his part in this battle was not yet over. He grasped Seraphine's outstretched hand, and a surge of energy coursed through him. Power, not of darkness, but of light. Together, they faced the Count, whose once immortal form began to wither, the stolen years crumbling away. With a final scream, he dissolved into dust, the shadows dissipating like smoke in the wind.
The storm ceased.
The silence that followed was not of fear, but of reverence. The villagers slowly gathered, whispering in disbelief. Elias turned to Seraphine, but she was fading, her purpose fulfilled. "Eldermere is free," she murmured, touching his cheek with a smile. "Live well, Elias. Live bravely." And with that, she was gone, leaving behind only the soft glow of dawn breaking over the village. In the days that followed, the villagers rebuilt, no longer afraid. The manor, once a place of terror, stood abandoned, its gates forever locked. Elias, now their leader, honored the memory of Seraphine by ruling with kindness and wisdom. And though the whispers of Eldermere's past never fully faded, they became stories of courage, of love lost and found, and of a young man who dared to stand against the darkness. And as the years passed, whenever a storm raged through the village, some swore they could hear a voice in the wind, a whisper of thanks, a reminder that courage would always shine through the shadows.
Whispering echoes.